Hi, welcome to this video. Hopefully this won't be too long and boring, but we're going to go into an in-depth look at some of the strange behaviour we've been noticing with the AGM-65E laser Maverick and the targeting pod in both the A10C and the AV8B Harrier. Fundamentally, what we've noticed is that the targeting laser, when fired from both the A10C and the AV8B, doesn't reach its target if it's beyond about 8.5 miles. If it's any further away than that, any weapon that is seeking that laser, instead of actually hitting the target, will try and seek the end of that laser beam, as it were. So if you're 10 miles from the target, the weapon will be trying to hit a spot 2 miles short of the target floating in midair. We've seen this issue before when we've tried buddy lasing with the A10C from high altitude and long ranges, but we've never really been able to understand what was going on. It wasn't until the AGM-65E came along, which is the first laser guided standoff weapon that we have in DCS, that we've really been able to understand what's been going on. Anyway, here are a couple of scenarios which really show off the issues we've been having and hopefully explain the situation. Okay, a quick run through of this first scenario. I'm approaching a group of ground targets from the northwest, as can be seen in the HUD by the TGP symbology. From the southwest, a friend of mine in an A10C is approaching, and he will be buddy lasing for me, and I will be firing a laser Maverick at whichever target he lasers. You can see he's 16 miles from the target, and I'm roughly 17 miles from the target. If we hit play, we can see what happens next. So, my laser Maverick is uncaged and is searching for a suitable laser. And you can see it's locked. Instead of locking where my friend in the A10C is actually aiming his laser to the left of the nose, it's locked to the right of the nose, which doesn't make a huge amount of sense. Shortly, you'll see the laser Maverick locking symbology appear on the right hand side of the HUD and slowly walk its way across to the target area. We actually saw this happen for the first time when we were trying to buddy lase the laser Maverick, and this is kind of what gave us a really good clue as to what was going on. The locking symbology will reach the target zone when the range for the A10C gets to about 8.5 miles roughly. It won't quite match where my TGP is pointing because I didn't know quite what tank he was targeting, but it's in that rough area. And you can see it's reached the target now, with the A10C being just under 9 miles to the target. And I believe I launch a Maverick now. Any second. There we go, missile away. And yeah, so that's the first scenario. That kind of really gave us a good idea of what was going on, and certainly explained why we were having trouble buddy lasing the laser Maverick with any effectiveness from any kind of range. On to scenario number 2. Here in scenario number 2 is a fairly standard laser Maverick attack. I'm coming in pretty fast and pretty high because I want to give the missile as much energy as possible so you can see its strange behaviour. What I'll do is launch the missile at around 15 miles, and I will brake hard right to 90 degrees from the target bearing. I will then keep the laser on as if it was a normal attack. What I'd like to see is the Maverick continuing to the laser mark point. Let's see what happens. So here we are running in. "16 miles, laser on." uncage the Maverick, gets a lock straight away, and fire at roughly 15 miles, brake hard right. If you look, the missile is already starting to gently turn to the right. You can see it's veering right away from that island with all the tanks on. I've now put the target at my 9 o'clock. I'm still lasing, laser is still on, and you can see from that MFD I'm not masking the target at all with the airframe, so the laser should be good. If you look at the TAC view, you can see that the Maverick is now turning significantly right and is trying to intercept roughly the center point of my laser beam, which is 8 miles from the aircraft. You'll see the Maverick start to turn tighter and tighter, and in fact I think it turns beyond 90 degrees as I'm starting to extend away from the target slightly now. There we go, so it's made well beyond 90-degree turn now. And it seems to actually be flying uphill, which is quite impressive for what is essentially a gliding missile. And when it finally reaches that end point of my 8-mile laser beam, it will detonate. It should be any second now. There we go. Well, if you've made it this far, congratulations on watching the most boring video on YouTube. But anyway, I hope you found that slightly interesting. Clearly it's not how the systems should be working, but we're having a lot of fun with DCS as it is anyway. We just want to see it improve in the future. I'd just like to point out that for some reason there's a slight discrepancy between the ranges seen in the HUD and on the TAC view. I'm not sure of the reason for this. I don't know if the Harrier HUD doesn't take into account slant ranges and TAC view does, or whatever, but they are the TAC view from the exact flights I captured the footage from, so I don't know why that's happening. The other point I'd like to make is this doesn't just affect the Laser Maverick, it also affects other laser guided weapons such as GBUs. Anyway, enough of me waffling. Thanks for watching. Bye.